But
James, would you take Jenson? If you had to?
If you had to.
Push came to
If
shove.
you had to. There's no other option, and there's us two alive on this earth. Would he take me?
Carlos and
Would
Alex
you
are
do
ill.
it?
Valtteri's unavailable.
You
Jean
two-
Lacey's not around.
Got no one else.
You two have been digging a hole for each other all the way through this.
And you just hit it.
Exactly.
We enjoy it. Hello, welcome to a very special episode of the Fast and the Curious podcast. Special because we're in London.
We are in central London, Piccadilly Circus to be precise. And it's British Grand Prix week, which is terribly exciting.
Woo!
You can tell it's British Grand Prix week because the weather in the UK has turned from wall-to-wall sunshine to rain. Of course, it's Silverstone, it has to rain.
We literally had a heat wave, 34 degrees yesterday. It's now grey skies, raining. But it is okay because today we are taking you inside.
Don't mind us. Afternoon, hello
don't
there.
worry about it. Welcome to London.
Somebody just walked past if you're listening on the podcast. It's already chaos.
We're taking you inside the Williams fan zone. So we are going to be talking to James Vowles, Jensen Button, and the one and only Alex Albon.
Last time we talked to Alex Albon, it got a bit awkward because of his late cat, who we are still remembering and sad about and would like to pay our respects to the cat community. So we'll hope it goes a bit better today.
Yeah, I'm not going to ask him if any of his pets have died.
No, we'll avoid that. But the fans are already queuing. In fact, they're just being allowed in. You'll be able to see on YouTube, they're just being allowed in, which I think, Betty, means we should probably go inside too. Shall we go in?
Yeah, we got to get going. See you in a bit.
So London, please put your hands together and give a big welcome to the hosts of the Fast and the Curious podcast. It's Christian Hugill and Betty Glover.
Thanks, James.
Hello, everybody. Oh, there's
Hello.
loads of people. Wow. Last time we were out here, it was empty. Everybody's turned up. It's fantastic.
I know, they've rammed you in, haven't they? Jesus, everyone in every crevice. How is everyone doing? Are you okay?
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Williams and welcome to a special, teamed up edition of The Fast and the Curious as we as a podcast team up with Williams here in London at Piccadilly Circus to have a chat to some very exciting people. I think if you're a Williams fan, and there are plenty of Williams fans here, plenty of caps on display, which we like to see, you're probably a huge fan of James Vowles, aren't you?
Yeah, he's not bad, is he? It's good no one booed there, because that would have been really awkward. Should we do it, Christian? Should we bring James Vowles on the stage?
Ladies and gentlemen, please give a massive round of applause to the team principal of Williams Racing. It's James Vowles!
Woo!
Good afternoon, everyone.
James, welcome to our platform. It feels, Betty just said backstage, it feels quite Romeo and Juliet. We're at the top of a balcony looking down on you all. It's fabulous up here, isn't it?
That is one way of seeing it. There's three of us up here, though, which is a slight awkwardness.
That's true, yeah. We're out like Romeo, we're up here.
Yeah, or Rapunzel. I could throw my hair down and you could climb down it, James. What about that?
All of these are possible.
It's the most cultured we've ever been on this podcast.
It is, yeah, it's going well. And by the way, everybody, think of some questions to ask James, because we are going to go roving, so think of your best questions. Hopefully you'll do better than us, but we'll get started. James, how's life?
It's good. I always love coming to these fan zones. I need to try and sneak into the corner over there and have a look at the Lego 14B in the background. That looks fantastic.
Oh, yeah.
But there is so much to do, and it is a real opportunity just to meet our fan base and spend some time just finding out really what questions people have. So please do. We will answer as many as we can. Think through what you want to ask and just interact and understand what's going on in the world outside of what we normally see.
It's very exciting, and it's very exciting not just because we're here in London today, but also because it's race week, everybody!
Woo!
That was loud. You guys are good.
Yeah, it's very good, isn't it?
What does race week look like for a team principal other than standing on a balcony and talking to us?
The typical, so for me, more than anything, it's probably Thursday will be the first time I go to the track. The team is obviously there from Tuesday. The car's being built and delivered on Wednesday. And then Friday is straight into, Thursday is understanding what we need to accomplish during the weekend, spend time with drivers, spend time with the team, understand really what our priorities are. Friday is a mixture of media followed by free practice and then engineering, a huge amount of engineering. We'll normally work as late as we can do subject to the curfew. And obviously the rest of it you all know. You go into a Saturday with another session, followed by qualifying as it is here, and then Sunday. The biggest thing for Silverstone, you saw it a little bit a second ago, is I'm afraid the UK weather has come back, and we do have rain
I
in and around.
can't believe it.
It's classic Silverstone. We had a heat wave yesterday.
I knew Silverstone was coming, and it's like, no, it's
I
right.
haven't checked the weather, and honestly, I'm thinking at least we're going to have a sunny Silverstone. I thought somebody was having me on when I checked my phone. I couldn't believe it. It's like somebody mentions the word Silverstone, the rain gods go, well, it's got to rain.
It's got to rain.
It's unbelievable.
Let's do a little bit of Formula One chat first before we get into my favourite bit, which is just asking you ridiculous questions. But how are you feeling ahead of Silverstone, and what's realistic for Williams this weekend?
No, I'm feeling good. It's a track that, just across the history of Williams, it's been great success for us. It is really a track that suits us. You're at home, and it's hard to explain this, but you get this home feel from it when you're at the track. It is absolutely brilliant. It does really motivate you and spur you on when things are tough, difficult, and you're tired. In Silverstone, for all those that don't know, you drive over a bridge, and when you drive over the bridge on the left-hand side, you see fundamentally the big stage that's open to you there. And you drive in at 8 in the morning, and there's probably 50,000 people all staring back at you. And that's what I love about Silverstone. The second thing about Silverstone that I absolutely love is if you take your headphones off when you're in the race, you can hear if there's been an overtake or a crash or anything happening 2.5 kilometers away, because everyone is just screaming their lungs out all the time. So answering your question, this is the one I love. For us, in terms of coming here, both cars and the points is a realistic expectation. We've been quick every year here pretty much, and that will continue on this year.
I thought when I was going to Silverstone as a kid, people just used to say that. But James is right. You go to other circuits and you get there on a Thursday at 9 o'clock and it's empty. And you're like, where is everyone? And Silverstone really is special, isn't it? It's like almost like a football stadium atmosphere. It's quite incredible.
It is exactly that. I think even Sam Fender's playing on Thursday at Silverstone.
Anyone going to see Sam Fender?
There you go.
We should talk about Austria briefly. We'll keep it brief.
What happened?
Other than the car catching fire for Carlos, it was fine. We move swiftly on from that.
Yep.
The point I was going to raise is, it's nice when you can come away from... Listen, every Formula One team in the world has a bad weekend. It was a bad weekend. But Alex was running really solidly in the points. You must be able to take advantages from things like that, from the fact that, look, OK, it was a bad weekend, but there's still clearly positives to take there.
Yeah, so if I go through everything from Austria on a serious note, first and foremost, the learning we get out, the pain that we go through when the car fails is extraordinary. Since pretty much an hour after the race, there have been teams working diligently in order to ensure that those problems cannot repeat going into Silverstone. So effectively, 3-4 days, large engineering problems are being overcome. So the learning you get out of that simply makes you stronger if you use it the right way. If you get frustrated by it and throw it away, it doesn't. You actually have to dig into it and find not just the problem that happened there, but what's the real root cause of that, and where can that also apply? And that's what's been going on diligently at the moment. And with Carlos, it's actually, as always with these things, not one problem. It was about 4 all compounded onto each other. And any one of the 4 could have resolved it, which is frustrating because he could have been racing on that day. In hindsight now, if we went again, even with the base problem in the brakes, we would have been able to race. In terms of Alex's, it's a cooling problem that is very much been there or thereabouts for a little bit, but we have to get on top of it, and we have some measures in Silverstone that will allow us to do it. But the frustration is this. We were running 6th, and a comfortable 6th. In fact, at that point, we were running faster than George in front, and we just stopped and were effectively flying. That's the problem.
Which, although, yes, it was all bad. We're all Williams fans. We wanted to do well. But the noise Alex made over team radio when he was told to retire the car was quite spectacular. He sort of went... I didn't know a human could make that noise, Alex. That was fascinating.
It's deeply frustrating for all of us, for Carlos as well. Carlos was equally frustrated when you take away an opportunity with a fast car. So going back to the positives, what are the positives? That's now pretty much every race this year. There were a few exceptions to that, where we've had a car that can be in the points and fighting the points. And this one was firmly in the points. You don't lose a fast car. And more so than that, we're building over the next few races on that as well. That's the positives. The positives also is how the team stepped up following that issue and has really started to dig into not just that, but about 100 others that could impact us going forward as well at the same time. And the positives are the drivers were brilliant. Alex was with me yesterday, spent time in the factory. They're completely rejuvenated, ready to go again.
You talk about positives, and you also talk about sort of the reaction when bad things happen. We know you love to get in front of the camera and directly talk to your fans. You love your little speeches. How do you sort of, I don't know, get the team together and get their spirits up and try and sort of rebuild after a weekend like that?
Here's the interesting thing. I don't necessarily love being in front of a camera. I love being here with our fan base.
Betty's decided you do, unfortunately.
Yeah,
Well, I've told you
that's just a part of it. For those that know me, I'd happily be in my home with a book. That would be how I live my life. But that doesn't work. It doesn't sound good, doesn't it? But what I do like is bringing people on the journey that we're on, because we're on such a fantastic journey. This transformation we're doing is ground up. Everything is changing within our organisation. And I've been given the empowerment that as long as it takes, you will fix it and change it. And that doesn't normally exist. If you look at some of the other teams, perhaps they're more forced into, you're going to be good this weekend. It doesn't work that way. And that means I want people to be a part of our journey as we go up the grid. And we are going up the grid as a result of it. So I enjoy that part.
Oh, it's been such a good season, James.
It's until Austria, it was absolutely fine.
Yeah, but bar Austria, let's forget about that. It's been ridiculous for Williams.
It's been a great year. Yeah.
Well, I said, James was on the Fast and the Curious the other week, and I said to him when he was, I don't fully believe him. You know, saying we're focusing on 2026. And then this car's been brilliant. Absolutely brilliant.
What's 2026 going to be like?
It's still focused on 26. This is just picking up some low-hanging fruit along the way, and the car's quick.
And the one question that I do have before we sort of open up the floor to all of these amazing fans is, you're having a baby.
We are, yes. Any
How'd you
minute
have time?
now, I
I
think.
think that's worth a round of
James.
applause, everybody.
Rachel, my partner's doing the hard work. I assure you, this is the easy part of life. So, yeah, any second now.
That is so exciting, though.
Absolutely, it's life-changing. We have a daughter at home that's under 2, so I think it's going to be chaos for about the next 10 years of my life, maybe more.
You travel around the world 24 races a year, which is a challenge for sleep anyway, an 18-month-old, which is a challenge for sleep anyway, and you thought, I know, another child, that will help me get even less sleep.
That's right.
Are you okay?
Is there anything else I can do to load our life up?
Have you thought of a puppy?
We have...
Because Alex Albon will sort you out.
We have a lovely 12-year-old dog who acts like a puppy. So there you go.
What breed?
She's a Multi-poo.
Maybe you should get a puppy. Just add that in.
Just
make
another
it more,
one.
Yeah, make it more
absolutely.
chaos. Get
I was
another-
thinking the same. We have capacity at the moment. We should load up.
Right, Christian, do you want to go down? Get some questions.
I'm excited for
gonna
this.
send
I'm going to go full grid walk here. This is fantastic. I think a camera follows me and everything. Is somebody going
God
to follow
help
me?
us all.
Anybody?
Right, Christian is walking down the spiral staircase.
This is great. Someone's
Who wants to
following me.
go first?
Put your hands up if you want to ask her. I'm going to go
James,
right in.
that girl
I know,
loves you.
it's a lovely... Thank you so much.
Hi, everyone. The first thing I want to do is hit... Sorry, are you lost?
No.
Gentleman's wearing a McLaren top. You know they're down the road. Yeah, okay. That's all right.
That is brave.
Who
That is
crucially
brave.
not wearing McLaren wants to ask a question? Right, I'm going to go for that gentleman over here, right in the middle. Because let's hello, everyone. Hello, it's lovely to see you. Hello, what's a nice hat? Hello there. Hi, how are you? What's your name? Where'd you come from?
I'm James, and I'm from Wiltshire.
Well,
James.
what a great
Wiltshire.
name. Absolutely fantastic name.
And were you named after James Vowles?
Sadly not, I didn't know.
James from Wiltshire. What would you like to ask James, not from Wiltshire, who runs Williams?
Are you coming to watch Formula Student after Silverstone the week after?
Good question. No, because of a baby. But I will have people...
Give him a break, mate. Come on.
There will be, I'll give you assurance, there will be people basically keeping an eye on it because it's so close to us and it means a lot to us.
James, just explain what Formula Student is for those unaware.
Yeah, really great program, takes place at university level, and it is a competition where you will work in a team, typically 16 for my old life, it might be bigger than that now, but build a car, build a chassis, and you'll race it against other individuals through courses. But it's one of your best pathways into Formula One because it teaches you, on a smaller scale, everything that you have to do with a Formula One car.
Does anyone have a question who doesn't want to book James for more things in life, given what he's already got
There's a
going
lot
on?
of people down here. There's a girl that is holding a phone that says "We love James" on it. So
I'll come to that. James, one more thing.
Can you help a Formula Student team in Dionesia?
Oh, you've had your chance. All right, mate. Thank you. Cheers. That's it. He's trying to book James Vowles. He's sent
he's
me an
having
email.
a baby.
Yeah, give him a break, mate.
baby.
Now, this lady here, for those listening on the podcast, has got a We Love James sign on the phone. It's one of the things they think of, these phone things. It's great. Hello, what's your name and where do you come from?
My name's Gabby and I'm from London.
From London. Firstly, you having a nice time?
I'm loving it. I absolutely love it here.
Good, isn't it? There's a Formula One car there, look.
I know. This is the second year I've been here in a row.
You ought to have seen them backing that in this morning. It was a nightmare. You didn't know that the Formula One cars had reversing and brake lights, did you?
I do now.
James backed it in.
Oh, did he?
It's very good. It's very impressive. And it was towing something.
What was it towing?
James, what was it towing?
I think, Christian, you've gone so far down this black hole, I can leave you in it.
Christian, ask her the question.
It was towing James' caravan for the weekend where they stay. What's your question?
My question for James is, out of all of the Williams liveries in history, what's your favourite?
It is a good question. So the colours you're wearing on your T-shirt should be a hint. You're in the right era. And I got a chance to drive the 14B, and that is my favourite livery, effectively. It's just synonymous with Williams. But also, just to that point, what I really enjoy with Williams, if you look at many other teams, it's the same livery all the way throughout their history. Not with Williams. It is stark contrast between the 7 that's back there to the 17 to the 14B, but they're all iconic in themselves. But it's the Mansell type livery that I love.
And you wouldn't want to name names of the boring teams that never change the livery. You wouldn't want to name Red Bull, would you, James?
I didn't say...
No, please. It is nice
Again,
that Williams
for clarity,
do different
this is the twice today I've been caught up doing this. Nothing came out of my mouth here. This is all from you, Christian.
Sure. Lovely question. Thank you very much. Hello, what's your name?
My name's Janya, and I'm from London, since you asked everyone else that question.
Say from London. I'm very relaxed about that. What would you like to ask?
So this time last year, I met Alex Albon, and I said I was going to be his race engineer. My question is, as someone who was once an engineer and is now in team principal, how does that change your approach to careers? Also, will you give me a job, please?
I love the confidence.
I tell you what, I like the punchiness of the audience today. We've so far...
James, what are you doing next Tuesday? James, can I have a job?
So, first of all, simple facts of this. Race engineer is one of the most incredible jobs. I had an opportunity to do that in a much earlier stage of my career. But you form a bond of connection with the driver that's invaluable, because the driver's basically alone out there, and you are their connection with about 1,000 people trying to get information to them at the same time. So a lot of your job is not just the optimization of the car, it is being a psychologist to the driver, an aid to the driver, and you're able to find them seconds in a race, and that's what I love about it. Pathway in is a fairly typical one. Nowadays, you can actually go through our simulation team, our driver and loop simulator team, but you can work your way up through 4 or 5 different structures. And what's great today is that didn't exist about 15 years ago. Race engineers, if you looked at them, we were generally all a bit older and through a different pathway, perhaps even other racing. Now, actually, there's a very dynamic path that allows incredibly intelligent people, which I hope put you in the same category of, to work your way up. So answering that question, no one will directly go into race engineering, but if you look at simulation and all of those activities, that's your pathway to it.
Why do you want to be a race engineer?
Well, you kind of touched onto it. So that interest in the psychology and mentality of the driver, which I think is just as important as trying to find lap time on track. I think that's combined with just motorsports in general was an industry I was drawn to, because whereas every other industry I studied a little bit of biomed was quite heavily motivated by profit, there's something magical about the fact that motorsport will always be motivated by performance. At the end of the day, they will do anything to make that car faster, and then there's no limits to what they can do because of that.
Lovely, well said.
Tell you what, James, could employ worse people, couldn't you?
Absolutely.
Right. Give a round of applause, everybody. That
Very
was
well
lovely. Thank you very much for your question. I'm going to go over here. Hello, everyone. Excuse me. Oh, this gentleman's got the film thing on. Did anyone over here have a question? Oh, this gentleman here. He's James. I am warning you. This guy's got an envelope. Hello, what's your name?
Claudio.
Claudio. Excellent name. Answer you. Go fire away.
Well, good morning, James. Very good to see you again. Well, I just got a question regarding the performance you've had this season. So it is true that the jump from 20 to 24 to 25 has been huge. You had a very good season. I'll say you had a very good season, even though Austria wasn't so good.
I can't
move on.
Yeah, that's all right. But, we've seen you say that 26 is a very important season. Your focus is on 26. I've seen that podcast of yours saying, break everything, try different things. But then
was it our podcast?
Oh, sorry, mate. I don't...
Then again, move on.
Yeah. But then how come with that mentality of having your eyes into 2026, that's such a big improvement in performance from 24 to 25?
So the main reason why I'm focused on 26, answering your question, is because it's a clean sheet of paper. There's not even a bolt that carries over. Everything is gone, which means we're able to get rid of perhaps some ways of working for the last 5-10 years that aren't really leading edge and revitalize that entirely. Whereas with 25 car, you're still locked into some of the ways of doing things. An example of that is we carried the chassis over. carried it over on purpose to make sure that we put our work into 2026. So when I really am talking about what we've done this year is picking up low-hanging fruit along the way, it's part in jest, part in not. It is effectively making sure that we're using the right methods, systems in order to put performance on the car that will pay us dividends in the future. But our eyes are all on 26.
Muchas gracias.
Gracias a ti.
This envelope does say for JV, it's a letter.
Yeah, it's a letter.
Do you want to read it or do you want to pass it on?
No, that would be very embarrassing. Read that out, yeah.
Shall I could be cruel. I'm not gonna. Do you want me to pass this on?
Please.
James, I'm bringing you up.
It looks like a long letter, that.
It does look like a long letter. It's an A4.
It's a good letter. You'll enjoy reading it.
I look forward to it.
A4 piece of paper, Betty. It's a long letter.
Ooh, wow. I feel like there's some good questions down here. I'm getting good vibes from these
Okay.
girls at the front.
I'll come down. I'll battle through. It's not easy because it's a big crowd. Hello, everyone. Hi. Oh, there's a nice retro livery there. Where am I going, Betty? Anyone in particular? This lady's got a Franco Colapinto top. We're still allowed to mention Franco, aren't we, James?
Yeah, we're okay mentioning Franco.
We're okay with Franco, yeah? Well, it's a Franco Colapinto Williams top. If it was Alpine, we'd have thrown him out. What's your name? Georgina, what question would you like to ask?
What's your favourite driver pairing throughout history from any team?
Sorry, one more time. I was being moved across. What's
Your favourite driver pairing from any team ever?
Good question.
That
Great
is
question.
a good question. It's a tough one to answer.
Now?
But I mean, it's from any time in history. That's the beauty behind that question.
Doesn't have to be Alex and Carlos now, because that would be the answer that I would expect you to jump to. It's the current ones.
So there's a reason why I chose those two drivers, and I'm very, very, very happy with Carlos and Alex for that reason, because they're here to build Williams into a championship team, and it's bigger than Williams is bigger than me, it's bigger than Carlos, it's bigger than Alex. We're all working towards the same goal. And so answering your question, I love that driver pairing. There will be other driver pairings, I'm sure, and even in the history of us here in Williams, that are extraordinary. But I am drawn to the now because that's where my head is. And I love Alex and Carlos. I think they're brilliant.
What is it about those two that you think is so special?
The main thing is this. It really is what I just said. First of all, they are great leaders. 20 of their words, and you'll meet Alex in a little bit and hear from him. It drives the team forward in a way that most other people couldn't even get them to change direction. They can drive us in the right direction by using very few words that are very eloquent, but that's what a true leader does. Number two is, as I said, we all three recognize that Williams is more important than us, so we're going to invest everything in Williams for it to be successful. And at that point, we'll enjoy the success that comes from the back end of that. And that's very unusual for drivers, especially a pairing of drivers. And after every race, every Grand Prix, every situation, they're back debriefing with us on Monday mornings, first thing, straight away, then spending time with us in engineering disciplines, then into our simulator. They're effectively, it is a full-time job for them in amongst everything else, but they're investing everything that they need to into this.
Because you're having a baby, if you had to ask one of them to babysit your newborn, which
surely
one would
there's
it
only
be?
one answer
So
here.
it would be neither. I guarantee you, neither. But both, I've already said this story publicly, neither one knows where any of their car keys, wallet, passport is at any one time. So it is probably not a child that you should leave them with.
Thank you so much for your question. Should we do one more, Betty?
Let's do one more.
Oh, hang on, there's a bag here. Please pick up your bags off the floor, everyone, because if I trip over, it's going to be caught on camera. Hello there. What's your name and what question would you like to ask?
My name is Hudson, and my question is, you said you like to read earlier. Have you read anything recently that you found interesting or fun?
There's a book I'm reading at the moment called Good to Great, which is actually synergist with the journey we're on here at Williams. But fundamentally, it's a study that took place of what made companies from average to absolutely incredible. And I hope it's the journey that we're on.
Great question.
No, it's not. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not a page-turner fiction novel, but
Are you
I
a
enjoy
fiction
it.
or non-fiction?
No, this is definitely non-fiction.
I feel like you're a non-fiction person.
Yeah.
You're not reading A Court of Thorn of Roses or anything, are you? That is niche.
It's
people.
That reference.
Yeah, good, but no, that's not me.
James, there's a dog at the back. Maybe you can steal that one and then you can get
What
another
dog
dog.
I'll be clear about this, plenty of pets and children in my life.
Sorry,
No
Betty, has someone
requirement for
genuinely
anyone.
got a dog in?
There's a dog, yeah.
Well, I'm going to see the dog. Come on, let's go see the dog. Let's go
We'll
see
be
the dog.
quick, Christian, because we need to give James a rest before
All right,
Jensen Button
I'm going to
gets
get a question from where's the dog? Where's the dog? Where's the dog? Where's the dog? Oh, it's at the back.
Right at the back.
Oh, it's right at the back. This is brilliant. Hello. What's the dog's name?
Rolo?
Rolo, hello. What's your name and what question would you like to ask? Rolo says, where are the treats? James, what breed is your dog?
So it's a Maltese and a poodle mixed together, but it's about that size. It's not far off.
Before we get back to this episode, if you've been enjoying the Fast and the Curious, listening to the drivers and thinking, do you know what? I want to have a bit of that. I want to go to a Grand Prix. Then we have got the perfect thing for you, haven't we, Christian?
And those perfect things are Gulliver's Travel. They're not things, they're lovely people. Gulliver's Travel sort out all the faff of going to a Grand Prix. So if you decide, I want to go to a Formula One race, but I want to focus purely on enjoying and soaking up the atmosphere, Gulliver's Travel will sort out all the faff and logistics, so you can just focus on having a nice time. It's wonderful.
They sort out literally everything. Flights, hotels. When you're there, you're going to have a Gulliver's Travel person with you to help you through everything. And you've been looking at the website.
I've been looking at the website, and I like the fact they have people that help you get to the track as well. That's the bit where I always go wrong. You get to your hotel and you think, oh, this is fantastic. Then you wake up the following morning like, I actually need to get to the Formula One place, and that stresses me out. But I've been looking on the website, and they have fantastic packages for Qatar, because that's one of those places where I'd be like, I have no idea how to get to Qatar.
Well, that is in November, but you're being incredibly organised for yourself by looking at that already.
Gotta be organised. Formula One is all about the fine margins and the details. So if you want to get yourself organised and look for races in the future, like Qatar, head to the Gulliver's Travel website. It is gulliverstravel.co.uk. They've got all sorts of packages, and you can customise packages to suit you by just giving the lovely people a ring, and they will help you out in whatever way that you need.
Guys, get on it. Right, back to the podcast.
Welcome back to the Fast and the Curious meets Williams crossover at the Williams Fan Zone here in central London, Piccadilly Circus. London, make some noise!
Well, we've got a special guest. He is a little bit late, but that's okay, because it is the one and only Jensen Button. Welcome to the stage, Jensen.
Hello.
I also think James Vowles is going to come back on because he wants to grill you too, so that's fun.
How's it going? Are we good? Wow, yes. I wasn't sure where the stage was, and you sounded so far away. I was like, oh, where am I going?
And
well,
we're just here. And James Vowles has come back as well, everybody.
I thought it was surprising.
James, welcome. We found Jensen. James, firstly, from your perspective, this legend of the sport is a Williams ambassador. For those in the crowd who don't know, it must be fantastic for you having someone like Jensen around as part of the team on race weeks like this.
Yeah, talk about me while I'm stood next to you.
It's good, isn't it?
Yes.
And say nice things if you could.
So, Jensen and I have known each other for 23 years or so. And we got to spend some brilliant time together. My first race win, Jensen's first race win was together in 2006. Our first championship was together in 2009. And I couldn't think of anyone better than Jensen to represent Williams as the brand, because he came here. This is where he first started his career. But you have an individual who I've worked with probably closer than most other drivers, because we spent a long, long time working together. And your first championship is special. So answering your question, yes, I couldn't be prouder to have Jensen as part of our ambassador lineup.
Would you have liked to have been Jensen's team principal?
I'd love it if he turned and went, no, absolutely not, no.
We didn't give him much slack when we were working together, but it worked, right?
Correct.
We pushed you hard, and look at you now.
Indeed.
Wow.
Okay, I go right.
we need details
Yeah,
here.
hang on. So what do you mean by didn't give him much slack?
Were you a nightmare?
What? No, but when you're a strategist, it has to be the toughest job in the world, because when it goes right, you forget it was the strategist, and when it goes wrong, it was the strategist. So it's not an easy place to be in your early years in the sport. So I think it definitely makes you a lot harder as an individual in a positive way.
Agreed with that one. Answering your question, though, yes, I would be very happy if Jensen was one of my drivers as a team principal. It's not an issue at all. He's not. There's not a political bone in his body. He just wants to go out there and drive quick and make sure that we're doing everything we can to make the car quick.
It's really interesting, though, that, isn't it? Because so often as a strategist, you get there on race morning and it's something like, right, I've got an idea. This is how we're going to do it. And there must be times when, be it drivers, be it the team principal goes, no, I don't want to do that.
So we had a moment where we weren't quite quick enough, and we were trying to use strategy as a way to become quicker. That's what happens. And that was
James fixed this for us.
Exactly. But actually, I think the brilliant thing with Formula One is a team sport. Yes, we have these incredible individuals that are elite athletes that can do things that 99.99999% of the world wouldn't even get close to, let alone be. But it's a team sport, and that's what I fell in love with about it, because it's effectively how you communicate and how you work together between your race engineer, performance engineer, your team principal, your strategist, the 1,000 people that work behind the scenes. That's what promotes success, and it is that team sport aspect of things that really drew me into it quite significantly. So answering your question, there are moments where you have highs and lows together, but they are pretty much together at the same time.
Did you learn anything from Jenson at those early stages?
Yes. Yeah, no, what Jenson has a real natural feel for what's going on in the car. So every driver is different. But by the way, every human being in the world is different. But Jenson's skill was an amount of natural talent that just most others can aspire to. They can perhaps use different techniques to get close, but there's a lot of natural talent here at the same time. And what I learned from Jenson was that. And then you've got to remember, in 2009, when we won our championship, that's a hard year. You're asking an individual who didn't know that they're driving a racing car several weeks beforehand to go out there and perform on a world stage. And by the way, now we have a chance to win a world championship, and he stepped up.
For me, also, one of the things I needed as a driver was the team. I have skills, obviously, to drive a racing car and to win races, but they are limited in some ways. You know, I'm not a Lewis Hamilton or a Fernando Alonso that can drive a car that's on the edge and doesn't really suit them, but they'll just push it and they'll get the time out of it. I needed my engineers around me to develop a car that worked for me and a car that I could drive. So my relationship with the team was always so important because of that. And I understood my weaknesses and I understood my strengths as well. Looking at Formula One now, how it's changed, you know, this was such a small family of people back in 2009 when you think about it compared to F1 teams now. And I think it's come such a long way in terms of the teams have grown so much. And I think having someone leading this team is like James is so important because he's been through all of that. He's been through the small team aspect. And, you know, when James was a strategist, how many people did you have working with you?
Oh, at time 0 or 1.
Yeah.
It's tiny, yeah.
And now?
Now teams are about nine people or so.
Yeah, so that's just the strategy. And you got to, you know, every area in the team has grown so much. So I think understanding that core values and importance of teamwork is so important, especially when a team grows as much as this team has grown over the years.
It wasn't the plan to get you two to talk about each other while you're stood next to each other, but I'm really enjoying it, so I'm going to do a bit more of it.
Great, because it's comfortable.
Yeah, it's great.
It's really comfortable.
You're both sweating.
Great fun. I'm having a lovely time.
Up here.
Jenson, when you were working with James, did you ever think, this is a guy who's going to run a team one day?
It's funny actually because, you know, through the years of working together, I think a strategist, as I said, has a really difficult role in a team, but you see people grow as an individual and, you know, it's easy to break a strategist in this sport for racing drivers anyway, but we didn't break James and he just grew with it. And initially, I have to say, when he was announced as, you know, the team principal here, I was like, oh, I was a little bit surprised because it's just not something I'd thought of as James being a team principal of the team. But wow,
James's face.
I know, but I mean, I want to be truthful, and then as soon as I started working with it, it was like, wow, I've never seen a team principal work with a team like this and get the team behind him, but also the fans of that team, you know, rallying around, pulling everyone together, and that was a big deal for me. And the way that James explains every scenario, every situation within the team, to the team, but also to the fans, is mega. And I've never seen a team principal do that before. So very impressed. But yes, first, initially, it's always a bit of a surprise when you've worked with someone as a strategist to see them suddenly they're running a Formula One team. It's a big deal.
That is pretty cool, isn't it? When you put it like that,
Yeah,
James?
absolutely. No, it's kind words. But Jenson's right on the face of it. It's a jump. There's no doubt about it. But I feel at home, feel comfortable, and want a good pathway.
It's going well though, Jenson, isn't it? What do you make of Williams' season so far? Because it started off pretty good.
It's still good. Just forget last weekend.
Yeah.
Again, what happened?
I mean,
we don't like to talk about it today.
It was setting it up for a great British Grand Prix, wasn't it?
Exactly that. Yeah, we don't want to take away from this weekend.
Yeah,
it's just a comeback story. And as Betty says, Jenson, you know, such a positive start to the season for Williams. As we're now approaching the halfway point, that start's been fantastic. must fill you full of so much pride. You know, the team you started your career with, to see them shining, to see them growing, to see not just the success this season, but to see the way the team is growing. Oh, that's a door at the back. I wondered what was going on then. It's a squeaky door, sorry. Frightened the life out of me. Thought something was going on. Carry on. Jensen, yes, Williams going well. Discuss.
But I've seen them go through all sorts. You know, when I arrived at the team in 2000, they're, you know, coming off of winning a world championship a couple of years before that. So when I arrived, it was a team that thought they should be doing better than they were, but we were still doing reasonably well, and it was my first year in the sport, so I was just happy to be here. And then you see the sort of fall in a way through the years, which was tough to see because I still had a really nice relationship with the team and Frank and Patrick. But then to see the last few years, the improvement of the team and the results, you know, the drivers they've got, you don't get a driver like Carlos Sainz unless you're a team that, you know, has the confidence that you're going to be fighting at the front one day. And you know, this guy's very persuasive as well. And Alex also staying on for there's me on TV. Just saw myself. So it was historic racing.
For those listening on the podcast, what were you doing?
I was just driving a racing car.
Just driving a racing car.
The FW22. Which I was reunited with as well last year, which was pretty awesome. But anyway, getting back to current.
Sorry, how quickly you were distracted by yourself on the telly. Having been on the telly for 20 years was fantastic.
I know. But the last few years has been just great to see the progress. And obviously there are ups and downs. They're always going to be. You don't just not. It's not a straight line from not being where you want to be to winning races. But to see the races and see the competitiveness of both drivers and this whole team behind them has been fantastic to watch. Some of the races this year have been sublime. And from the driving point of view, strategy point of view, the whole team effort that's gone into it has been beautiful to watch. And yeah, we always want more, but that's why we're here. We're racing against the best teams in the world, and it's not always easy, but it's lovely to see the fight back to the front.
Car is looking fast. It's looking fast. Just away from racing for a second, James Vowles is going to be having another baby in a few weeks. You've got children. Jensen, what's your word of advice for fathering a newborn?
Well, my wife actually did say to me last year, would you be interested in being a team principal? And I was like, no chance. Way too much work. So yeah, good luck to you.
Thank you. Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah.
And the advice is good luck to you.
It's an understanding wife. That's
correct. Yeah, that's the key to it.
Yeah.
And Jensen as well, one thing I wanted to mention while we're stood here in front of an audience of our wonderful fans is, like, you know, you were driving in the sport not all that long ago, and yet it still feels like from when you stopped racing to stood here now in 2025, the sport's grown another level. Like, we've got the film out in the last couple of weeks. The British Grand Prix has taken over London in the week leading up to the actual Grand Prix itself. All of these brilliant people have flocked here to Piccadilly Circus to see us. You must love that as someone who loves the sport as well.
Yeah, it's amazing to see how it's grown. You know, I will always say I raced in the best years of Formula One because that's what old racing drivers say. And to be fair, it was pretty awesome. We raced with V10s, V8s, and I raced with V6, the current engine. So you know, my career spanned a couple of decades, which I loved. But I have to say that the way the sport's grown it's so good for Formula One. It's lovely to see fans from around the world, new fans coming to the sport as well as old fans, and really enjoying a sport that I've loved since I was 8 years old. So lovely to see it grow. Obviously, Netflix has definitely helped that over the years, and we've just taken another step with the F1 movie. And I was at the premiere in New York and with a lot of other people, and really enjoyed it. I thought the action scenes were mega, and that's the really difficult thing to get right with any sports movie. The action scenes, and I think they did that really well. And I mean, they were going to, because they spent almost 3 years at racetracks, at F1 races.
Can I just ask you about the film? In the film, right, Sonny Hayes, main character for those who've not seen it, when he comes back to F1, he's older than you.
Good point.
Well, he's not just a little bit older than me, he's 61 years old. I mean,
I don't think he's 61 years old in the film.
Is he not?
No. I think with, you know.
But he had 3 decades away. That's
like
Jean Alesi coming back to Formula One.
I'd love to see it. What I'm saying is, why don't, you know, are we ruling that out categorically?
Definitely.
Let's not be too hasty. You know, Cadillac have got open seats next year.
They go down well. Maybe not the best time to be mentioning that.
James, would you take Jensen? If you had to?
If you had to.
Push came to
If
shove?
you had to. There's no other option, and there's us two alive on this earth. Would he take me?
Carlos and
Would
Alex
you
are
do
ill.
it?
Valtteri's unavailable.
You
Jean
two-
Lacey's not around.
Got no one else.
You two have been digging a hole for each other all the way through this.
And you just hit it.
Exactly.
We enjoy it as well.
You're on your own
nail.
now.
Does anyone have any questions for Jensen? Right, okay, I'm going to
They
go
don't have any
roaming.
more.
Your
I'm going to
turn.
get out of here.
Betty's going roaming. Put your hands up if you'd like Betty Glover to come and find
it's
you
your
and ask a
birthday.
question. Oh, what? Betty, can we speak to the person whose
Oh,
birthday is in the front?
yeah. I've
There we
seen
go.
your sign. Happy birthday. What's your name?
Chelsea.
How old are you? Older or younger
We
than
don't
Jensen?
Whoa, Betty.
This is
don't ask
something.
that.
This
No.
is something you have to learn about working with Betty Glover. No filter at all.
You've got to go for it,
Are
guys.
you 22 or 55? Hey, which one are you? I mean,
Always.
yes, 22. Like it.
Do you have a question for Jensen? Or James?
Yeah, Jensen.
Go on.
If you was on a road trip, what song do you have to listen to?
Oh, that is a good question. What? I mean, my music taste has changed since having children. I listen to some very bad music.
What's very bad music? Define it.
Skibbity Toilet. Yeah.
I'm not there
Have you
yet.
heard of that one?
Yeah, it's not the
Has
best.
anyone heard of that? I mean, I think it's just
Yeah,
me
it's
and my
not the
son. It's terrible. And then there's a SpongeBob version of Skibbity Toilet.
Jensen, I haven't heard of it. Can you...
No.
No? Okay. Does anyone else have a question? Right, I'm going to come to you. Superman, over here. What's your name?
Salmon.
What's your question?
Jensen, do you think James will get an Oscar for the F1 movie?
Woo! Were you in it?
For about a millisecond.
Were you smiling?
I think they even blurred it, so you can't even tell.
Oh.
You were credited at the end, though.
I am towards the end. No, it's a little bit more than that. I'm in there. I do not think it is Oscar worthy for my performance, but I think the film has much potential.
I thought Brad was awesome.
I think if you haven't seen it yet, I won't give too much away, but the opening sequence of racing is fantastic. I think they capture it really well and then go on to that.
Yeah, enough of the movie. Let's go over here. Right, I'm going to come in just because, got to... Let me...
While Betty's finding someone, I noticed
that was a bit low for me. Do you have a question? Oh, what is that you've got over there? Okay. What's your name?
Gail from Southampton.
From Southampton. Okay, what's that you've got in your hands?
It's my collection of Williams F1 shirts. And James, could I buy your shirt to add to my collection?
You guys are requesting
this actual
all sorts.
one.
This actual one.
Off your back.
I need this one, unfortunately, for today because of everything we have. But it's a brilliant collection. Which ones do you have in there?
At the end of the season.
Well, he doesn't wear one all season. He changes.
I think he needs his shirt. You cannot be taking the shirt off the man's back. I'm going to come over here.
So far, I've had someone who wants to book me next week, someone who wants employment, and my shirt. I'm loving these fan zones.
Do you want anything from James?
No.
What's your question and what's your name?
So my name's Lucy. Hello. And my question is for James. Can I hold that? Thank you. So I was recently thinking about a race a few years ago with Logan Sargent. He retired from the race, but you came on the radio to talk to him and said about looking after him.
Yep.
Why is it so important to look after your drivers physically, mentally, and how do you do it?
Because they're an integral part of our whole organisation and team. And it doesn't matter whether it's a driver or any one of our employees, I will look after them because they give me everything. They're away from their family. We spend more time together than they do with anyone else in the world. And particularly in the case of drivers, irrespective of perhaps where they feature on the grid, I give you a guarantee they are giving you everything from when they wake up in the morning to when they go to sleep at night. And it's been their dream. Jensen said it here. It's been their dream since they're 6 years old. And it's a dedication that is so incredible that it should be rewarded in that way.
Happy with that?
Absolutely. Thank
you. Good answer. Right, we've got time for one more question. So I spotted you first, so I'm going to just come over here. What is your question?
So I've got two questions, one for Jensen and then one for James. Jensen, out of the two McLaren drivers who are currently at Trafalgar Square, since you are you are a world championship holder, who out of the two do you think has the world championship mentality?
I'm off.
And for James, it's not if but when Williams become contender.
Yes.
Right. How are you going to deal with the drivers and in terms of preference and like strategy and all of that stuff?
Two big beefy questions there for you to
They don't
answer.
mess about this lot, do they?
No,
Just go first.
No, there's only time for your answer, as it turns out.
I mean, they're both very competitive. I think we've seen them change through this year. I think the pressure was big for both of them at the start of the year, and you saw it in qualifying. You know, through practice, their pace was amazing. Qualifying, they definitely tightened up, and I know that feeling all too well. But it seems that lately they've relaxed a bit more, and they're confident in their ability, and it's really good to see them scrapping, because the championship is down to those two now, basically.
Did he answer that for you?
No, I haven't.
Really, it's a bit too political, I think.
And I think the important thing is, for all of us that are fans of the sport, is that they're allowed to fight, that they're allowed to race. They're so far in front of the championship in the constructors, they should be allowed to. He won't agree, probably, but I feel that they should be allowed to fight as hard as they can. And we saw that in Austria, and it kind of hurt. It could have hurt their strategy because they pushed each other so hard, but it was great to watch.
No, I agree with you. They should be fighting, because that's where it's key. Answering your question, the way of working with two incredible drivers is you create a construct around them. And by the way, this applies to anyone. It can be two human beings within the organisation. It's a box that you create around them and say, these are the rules we're going to work to. You want to look back on whatever you win in 20 years' time and be proud of everything you've done. So effectively, you want to do this as a sports person first and foremost, and you're representing one of the biggest brands in the world. And it elevates it up to be higher than any one individual, which is really important on that. And you create a construct by which they can fight each other. There's some rules to it. One of them is you never hit each other. You respect your teammate more than anything else, which is why you saw, actually with McLaren, it happens every now and again. They are fighting at sort of 300 kilometers an hour. But you create a construct around it that allows them to understand what we're going to do in strategy, what we're going to do even leaving the pit lane. You'll be surprised what level of detail you have to go into, because you're continuously trying to find an edge. And then you let them get on with it, fundamentally. And to Jenson's point, if you're in McLaren's position, and well done to them, now it's about making sure they create the right environment for the best of their two drivers to win.
Jenson, you were at McLaren, obviously, and when you were there, you were alongside Lewis for part of your time there. When you're alongside someone like Lewis, does it push you as a driver, like Lando and Oscar together, two drivers with huge talent? We've obviously got a similar thing at Williams with Alex and Carlos, two drivers, capable of podiums and race wins. Does it push you as a driver?
It definitely does, yes. Having a competitive teammate, one, because you have the competition of your teammate, and he's the first person you have to beat. He's in the same car as you. But two, because you have his data. And if a driver is extremely good and you're looking at his data, you learn from it. If a driver's not on the pace, you don't really trust in his setup changes he does through the weekends. You're kind of alone. A little bit like what Max Verstappen is like at Red Bull at the moment. He does his setup work, I'm guessing, and he looks at what he does. Probably doesn't concentrate too much on the other car. When you have two drivers that are competitive and experienced, you can learn off of each other. So yes, it does push you. And you're also, we're all reasonably fair as drivers, but we always look also for our teammates' weaknesses. And you have to be a bit ruthless, especially when you're fighting for a world championship. So that was something that I could do with Lewis. He was still young. I'd been in the sport for a lot longer. He was already a world champion, but I could come in and see the areas that he still needed to improve in, and I could really push in those areas, because his outright ability and his natural talent was always there from day one, but there are other areas he still wasn't ready yet, I would say.
And just before we finish, because we need to get off, but the person who Betty spoke to at the very first, we should explain, is not only wearing a 55 Carlos Sainz hat, but has got a Jensen Button Brawn GP top on with the number 22 on the side, and is even holding a copy of Autosport, the magazine from when you won the championship.
That's so cool.
I mean, this is amazing, because it could be for James as well.
It could be both of us,
we both won
but it's not. That's.
And there's a couple of Brawn tops in it. I see another one over there. So
Your
thank
book
you
is
guys.
down there as well,
Representing,
Jensen?
I like it.
Representing.
They don't exist anymore, so we can say it's good that you're wearing it. It's
We
fine.
have got to wrap this up, but first Williams wants us to take a selfie with everyone in the background, so let's do that.
Have you got a phone?
Who's got longer arms out you?
I'm going Jensen, isn't it?
So maybe
I
stand.
love that we all know what Jensen does. Where we go?
Right, coming in, everyone.
We can't get in, can we?
Yeah, it's not an ideal balcony, is it? I'll come over here. Betty, you come over here.
I'm just going to stand
Christian,
still.
dip down.
Tell me when to push the button, guys.
Push.
Oh, I thought I was going to get like a countdown.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, cheer!
Christian.
There you go.
There we go, that'll work. Ladies and gentlemen, please say thank you very much and give them a massive round of applause. We appreciate them being here. James, Vowles and Jenson Button. Woo!
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
That was James Vowles and Jensen Button. That was a lot of fun.
That was a lot of fun. That was a lot. Generally, there was a lot.
It was all just
brilliant.
a lot, yeah.
It was all just a lot.
If you're watching on YouTube, you'll see we are backstage here in London. And this, I think, is an appropriate place to pause. We're going to start a new episode of The Fast and the Curious. Join us for part 2 of this episode when Alex Albon will be with us here in London in front of the wonderful Williams fans.
And he's always carnage, so God knows what we're going to get from him. We'll see you later.